Postgame report here on Pittsburgh Hockey Now and Pittsburgh Sports Live. Hello, I'm Dan Kingerski. The Penguins fell again to an inferior team at PPG Paints Arena, 3-2 in overtime to the Vancouver Canucks Tuesday night. The Penguins got on the board early. Jake Guentzel on that top line with Sidney Brassard. They banged one home 6 minutes into the game. But from there, the Penguins kind of had a bit of a sloppy first period. The Canucks tied the game not long afterwards on what Casey DeSmith called one of a couple chaotic sequences. DeSmith, along with a couple defensemen, overplayed the puck below the goal line, and DeSmith actually stumbled in the crease, which allowed defenseman Ben Hutton to step forward and blast a shot through a couple Penguins and past the fallen DeSmith.
Yeah, a lot of action around the net. A couple chaotic sequences there that, puck ended up in the back of the net.
Later in the period, the Penguins again overcommitted to a puck below the goal line. None of the forwards, including Evgeny Malkin, came back to cover Brandon Sutter on the backside. When the puck squirted loose, Sutter just banged it home from the goal line, and the Canucks led for most of the game at that point. The Penguins had some chances, deflections just wide, but the Canucks were content to pack the zone, chip the puck out to center, really played a quintessential road game.
Yeah, they just defended really hard. They kept it really simple. They probably flipped on how many pucks tonight, but I felt like our second period was good. We competed hard.
And that stymied and frustrated the Penguins, who, by Mike Sullivan's account, were looking for that pass across the top of the crease or across the top of the circles, looking for the great plays. Sullivan imploring his team to shoot the puck more, taking a page right out of the 2016 speeches that he used to give. Sullivan wanting his team to shoot more, to make the other team defend and pull everybody inside the dot. Sullivan thinks that will simplify the Penguins' game and get them on track, because right now, 5 games into the season, the Penguins have not really been on track yet. Though they did outshoot Vancouver 28-26, they also outchanced Vancouver 24-20. It was not by any stretch a bad game for the Penguins. It was just kind of a slightly game, and in fact, in the Pittsburgh Hockey Now report card, you'll notice a lot of B, B-, C+ grades. Now, let's talk about one of the players that social media was piling on a little bit Tuesday night, and that was Jack Johnson. Johnson just seems to be the whipping boy in waiting for of that, especially on the second goal, as Brian Dumoulin shed his man, who was going to have Tim Schaller, who was going to have a clear shot to come around on DeSmith. Johnson left his near post, went to the far post, confronted Schaller, who zipped the puck over to Brandon Sutter. Now the question is, the Canucks center was wide open. Where were the rest of the Penguins? Things like that look like perhaps Jack Johnson made the bad play or made a bad decision, but the reality is defense is a 5-man deal, and on that play, a little bit chaotic, but the Penguins were defending with only a couple or a few guys there. They need everybody to come back, and in fact, textbook example was the Penguins' first goal. All 3 forwards, the Penguins' top line, Brassard, Crosby, and Guentzel.
Yeah, I think we can create more, but I think, for the most part, I think as far as scoring chances go, we've had enough to win games. So, tonight's another example. I felt like we generated some good ones, but you're going to play games that are tight, and you've got to capitalize on the ones you get.
Coming back deep into the zone, defending well, will breed offensive chances. And that's another thing that the Penguins really have been lacking thus far this season. And even going back into last season, it's easy to blame defensemen. But it is, like I said, a 5-man operation. Now let's talk a little bit about Casey DeSmith. Take this as an insult, take it as a compliment. On Tuesday night, DeSmith looked like a capable and competent backup goaltender. I'll let you decide what that is. It's a reality of where things are. DeSmith was a little bit loose, a little bit sloppy. he was down a little bit. He was a little bit scrambly. He wasn't quiet in net Tuesday night. Also, notice the Canucks were picking that stick side, that blocker side on to Smith. They rang a few posts. Antoine Roussel backed Juuso Riikola in and just rung one off the post to the blocker side as well. They were shooting to that side, and they got ironed a few times. It could have been a little worse had a few of those gone in, because as Vancouver was hitting post, the Penguins were being pushed to the outside, and they didn't really have an answer. That's, I think, one thing you're going to see against Toronto. If Mike Sullivan has his way, the Penguins will probably grind and shoot Toronto into the rafters on Thursday night at the ACC Center. They are going to simplify their game. Toronto has scored 33 goals in their first 7 games. In fact, Austin Matthews has multi-point games in all 7. It's going to be a wild affair if the players have their way. We'll see who wins out in that battle. From PPG Paints Arena, I'm Dan Kingerski with the Penguins post-game report on Pittsburgh Hockey Now.